Okay, so let me play this quickly. So, as we can see with that specifically, if we go right here, so he was in standstill electric spacing, as you can see, but he was also like micro spaced enough that when Brian did down 111, he had the ability to backdash out of that situation. So that was really an unfortunate thing. He just lost the timing read, but as you can see, the spacing was pretty much the same. Okay, so pay attention to how he manipulates his spacing ranges. So you see there 3 wave dashes. Now look at the spacing. So there's what I was talking about in the primer video about going under a jab with an electric. So like those things right there was just like that's the type of spacing that you need to be paying attention to and trying to maintain.
Round 3. Fight.
Okay. So let's look at this again. Wait a minute. Let's look at this situation again. So let's look at this. So look, this is exactly the type of stuff that I be talking about. So look, if we sit here and we draw this, right? Where Brian was at before he backdashed, he was right here. He was right here. So if we rewind this again,
fight.
So do you see that? So he did standstill electric. What is the issue with doing standstill electric right here? As you can see from what I drew right here with the spacing thing, Kazuya does not have his spacing to control that with standstill electric. And what ended up happening? He gets whiff punished. Why? Because that was not a keep out electric attempt. He attempted to read him pressing, it seems like, with a standstill electric. So he was trying to read a hurt box extension. That doesn't work because as you can see where Brian is at with the spacing, if he did dash electric, then he could have potentially hit him. He didn't do dash electric. He did standstill electric. So if we rewind this again, we can look at it one more time. So he blocks back 4, right? Back 4 is -10. Keisuke does electric because it was spaced in a way where it's basically like it's extremely hard to punish with 112, right? So look, this is what's important. And we can go back and watch this one more time. So let's look at this again. So he loses time and read. Now look, if you notice, if Brian didn't backdash and he pressed, or let's say for some reason he just stood still, that would have hit him. The backdash took him outside of the spacing ranges. Shit. Wait a minute. Let me go back to this. So the backdash took him outside the spacing range. We watch it one more time. So you see that? The backdash took him outside the spacing range. And because it was badly spaced, he had free reign to dash back in his face and then press a counter hit launcher. But he couldn't get a whiff punished. He couldn't get a whiff punish because he started at -10, right? So he started at -10, couldn't get a whiff punish because of that. So what does he do? He dashes back in his face and he counter hits him because you cannot backdash and then get a whiff punish on electric at the same time. That's something that's important to keep in mind. We can skip ahead in that stuff, by the way. So he's trying to read him and get him to duck. You see the spacing? Look at the spacing he's keeping. See, this is a textbook example of how to use electric correctly. He read his timing with the counter hit, and his spacing was 100% correct. So let's look at what happened one more time. So look, if I draw it, and there's a little bit of a shaky line. If I draw it, now look. Now, if he does standstill electric, from this distance, it goes about here. So what does he do instead? Let's look at this. So keep in mind, he got him to move forward. So he got him to move within his standstill electric range, and he also read his timing. But the thing is, if you look at this, and I draw this right here, and we rewind this one more time, he did not leave dash electric range. Because that's another thing that's very important for a Mishima to understand, that you're going to have to understand intuitively if you want to play a Mishima or get good at fighting Mishimas. Your spacing boxes, so this little spacing thing I drew right here, your spacing boxes is not independent of the opponent. Your spacing boxes is also about what you like, how you can get the opponent to move in and around them. And Keisuke understands that. That's why he can get in somebody's face like that and then have them, like, he can just beat them on a timer read with counter hit electric. That's how you're supposed to use electric right there. That's how you're supposed to use it. Get that down back 4. Yep. Okay. So he called him out right there. So again, he called him out right there. I don't know if he pressed or whatever. He might have just got hit like in the middle of trying to do something. But that was a relatively safe, because notice he keeps using the electric as a counter hit tool. Okay, he gets that block. So let's look at this one more time. So as you can see, I'm not going to draw it this time. As you can see, right? Let's look at this. Let's really look at this. Let's pay attention to this. Now look. He backdashes. He's within dash electric range. How do we know that he's within dash electric range? Because we just look at the spacing. We just look at the spacing. I could draw it, but we just look at the spacing. We know that he's in dash electric range, right? He's in dash electric range. Knee is aware that for Keisuke to hit him with an electric, he has the dash. So what does Keisuke do? Let's look at this. He backdashes. Then he does the electric because Knee moved forward. Now look, not even as a reaction, because it's a low risk read, because he's trying to counter hit him with it. You see that? So Knee did duck, and then he dashed forward. So he beat his timing by doing electric on block, because it was a safe counter hit read. The thing that made it safe was that Knee can't attack him in that moment because he has to sit there and be worried of electric. But if you keep trying to normal hit people with electric, you're not going to be successful. Simply because that's not a good strategy. Me personally, I'm not on the level of Keisuke or these other players. Me personally, because I've taught a lot of Mishima players, and a lot of them is like guide instruction and stuff now and all them other things. Me personally, the thing that I tell people, and this is literally the truth, it's actually observable. You're going to see in these other replays that we look at. It's legitimately observable. I promise you, I don't care if you get hit with electric. I care that you block the electric or you get counter hit by it. If you get normal hit by an electric, I don't understand how that happens to you, like, more often than not. That is something, if you're fighting a good Mishima player, you should only be really getting counter hit by electric, because it's a safe timing read. It's something they can do that's extremely hard to deal with if applied correctly. It's literally a spacing game. So this is one thing. This is one thing that's very simple that you can apply today if you really wanted to. Let me draw this. So this is the spacing right here. So look. Standstill electric, dash electric, right? So this right here, so if you do electric from where Kazi is standing right now, standstill electric is this first bar right here. Let me put my cursor over it real quick. This first bar right here, this is where standstill electric will take you. This is where dash electric will take you approximately, right? That will not reach Brian though. That will whiff at that range. So what do we have to do? When someone blocks your electric, this right here, you can do deep dash electric because you're +5. And if they attempt to contest you, like with that, then they're going to get hit. So if you're fighting somebody that continually tries to contest electric with some bullshit, like say for example, if they contest a deep dash electric with jab, okay, that's fine. You know, you might get hit with a jab. Maybe, like, if they keep pressing buttons, say, for example, they're pressing the down forward 1. They don't necessarily have the frames to do that, because when you do the deep dash electric, right? You started at +5. What can you do at +5 to force the opponent to whiff if they want to press buttons? Wave block. You can wave block and it'll solve your issue. When you play a Mishima, it's about simplification of your options. I'm not lying to you. It's about simplification of your options. If you watch the way that Keisuke has been using his buttons and his movement, you're going to see that it's very simplistic. He's been using electric to counter hit. He hasn't been over spamming it. He's been doing a lot more like regular defense. He's been doing a bunch of different things. Okay, so he sees that knee is jabbing a lot. What does he do? Full cross down 4-3. Full cross down 4-3 is -11. That's a very high, like that's a very good risk versus reward exchange for the type of move that is. So as we can see right there, the read pays off. Okay, so now we have Hell Sweep. Now keep in mind, my cosplayers, when you do Hell Sweep, that you basically have Loop and Oki, you add the frames to go and do another Hell Sweep or another mix-up, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so knee reads that down back 4. Do you see? Now look at the pressure, because this is important. Look at the pressure that Keisuke is exerting by the simple fact that he uses electric as a counter hit launcher. Knee is second guessing, pressing his button, and he's also ducking in neutral, which gives up frames because he's trying to deal with the electric effectively. So do you see? And this is another thing, and this is an interesting change in this matchup that's specifically from Tekken 8. Brian has QCB1 now, which is basically the equivalent of an electric out of his backsway. So they both have incentive to duck it in neutral, but electric is pretty much the stronger option out of that because wave dash is this, and electric is safe on whiff. Okay. Okay, so he gets his punish. So as you can see, now look. Keisuke is still keeping him within dash electric range because he's moving backwards because knee is moving forward. Knee is moving forward, but when he sees knee move backward, he also moves forward.
Fight.
So look at it's completely consistent. You can literally see it. When Keisuke sees that knee is moving backwards, he moves forward. Okay. Okay, so he gets counter hit. Unfortunate, happens to the best of us. Okay, so that's -11, as we already said. Okay, he gets his follow-up off of that. That's not the end of the game, though. Okay. So he's pestering him with, small low pokes and settle. Okay, that was a good timing read. And this is one of the things with FF3. So one of the underrated uses of FF3 is, if we go back and watch this, let's look at this again. So what looks to have happened here, and this is important, the reason that FF3 is a defensive keep out launcher and it's not a mix-up tool is because FF3 is slow enough that if the opponent is not specifically representing options that have a certain amount of gaps in the frames for them to take advantage of, you can just fuzzy FF3. It looks like Knee tried to backdash here or something into pressing a button, but FF3 blows that up at +9. But you're not going to get +9 that often. But you can use this in your regular games to punish people that actually have decent defense.
3,
Let's look at this again. Let's look at this again. Now look.
Fight.
So knee backdash. Look at this. He backdash. So he does not have the frames to whiff punish electric in this range. This is how you actually use. So if you really feel the need to use keep out electric at a close range where they could potentially whiff punish, it needs to be when you observe that your opponent has a tendency to backdash at certain timings. Okay, so you got him with the throw. Okay, so he got that FF2. So he tried to sidestep, so that hit him. Okay, nice electric punish. And now he has the guess for game. Yep.
Round 4. Fight.
Let's look at this electric first, actually. So he sidesteps, right? Which delays his timing. So if he would have pressed, he would have got hit. He didn't press anything. You can't react to the sidestep by itself necessarily unless they're like doing multiple. You can't necessarily react to the sidestep. So what does Keisuke do? He does electric. So if Knee would have pressed at that timing, he would have got hit with the electric. He ends up blocking the electric. So Knee is backdashing. He does orbital. So Keisuke, he backdashes and then he does FF3. So he backdashes and he does FF3. Now, why does he do FF3 here? Because the way that the move that Knee whiffed, if he was to press a button or whatever, the FF3 would have actually had the frames to do something about it, and it basically would have frame trapped, and he didn't have the frames to sidestep it. So it was a sure bet to do that. It really wasn't dangerous, and he was basically guaranteed to have to block it. So then, right here, you can see Keisuke try to use FF3 to break Knee's fuzzy guard. So look, Keisuke is only moving backwards when Knee moves forward. Now see, that was just an unfortunate, down four. Okay, so I think he tried to electric but got a misinput. Okay, so he hit him for trying to step duck. Okay, so that was just unfortunate right there.
Final round.
Okay, so that was very good fuzzy defense. Okay, so he tried to delay it. That's the risk of delaying. Okay, so he did his backdash. So the thing with that right there is that he could have either did electric or FF2. So Knee has incentive to duck right there because it's safer. Well, it's not even that it's safer. It's just that doing electric right there is something that a lot of good Mishima players would do because it puts you in a situation where you have to contest it. So he was just wrong in that situation. And Keisuke ended up doing FF2 instead. And he could have actually launched that. So
round 1.
What I'm gonna do with these videos, and I think I'm gonna watch first the one. So this was a very good decision by Knee. So the reason that was so good is because he delayed his timing before doing the orbital. So if Keisuke would have delayed his timing, like he did right there, and it was a low, he gets hit. If he doesn't delay his timing, he gets hit. because Knee already, he already delayed his time so he would get hit. If he does immediate timing and it's like a quicker button, then Knee would have blocked it as well. Okay, so this is good electric usage. This is good electric usage. Simply for the fact that the spacing he was at, Knee basically was forced to duck it, and he basically could not get like a good whiff punish even because of it, because he had to sit there and he basically had to stand up or whatever in time in case he did another high. So like say that he did 1-1 or whatever, it would have been a thing. But you can see right there that it looked like he was about to stand up after he did the duck, because you can see most of these games he has not been ducking that long. So he's been ducking in the stand up to try and cover two options. He basically gets forced to take a while standing forward, because I think he expected a mid, like after he would have stood up or whatever, or trying to hit him out of it. Unfortunate whiff. Okay, good down forward too. That's another thing. Just for the cosplayers, I just want this to be very clear about this. Down forward 2 is not a homing move. You can use it as a homing move, but that's not what it's for. What it's for is if somebody is rotating like sidestep and they're also rotating press, that's what down forward 2 is for. That was a beautiful sidestep into electric. Okay, so that was a good duck. So he's doing like while standing for, down forward to get him to wait pretty much. Now, let me just draw this one more time. Let me just draw this one more time so we can just see standstill electric, dash electric. And then here we have deep dash. Let me just do that. And then we can play it.
Fight.
So as you can see, look. He doesn't ever allow Knee to leave that spacing like without him having to fight for it. He never allows him to leave that spacing, because look. Do you see this? Do you see this? Look. As soon as Knee actually escapes the spacing that would allow him to completely control the neutral with electric, he immediately takes the space. He will not allow him to get out of that spacing. So that was wild as hell, I'm not gonna lie. But I understand the decision, because if he ducked after, which might be why he got hit, if he ducked after that right there, then he would have definitely got hit. Which he did get hit, so
Fight.
but I'm gonna just leave this right here. So just to show how it's actually working, because look at this. So Knee has been fuzzy in this entire game. Now he's starting to use wave block. So let's look at this. Let's look at the spacing again. So as you can see, extremely hard to whiff punish that electric in any way that's substantial, if anything at all. So now he has him on the wall. You see how, look at how he takes up the space. Okay, sweet. There he gets his electric. Now see, that right there. There's the wave block. There's the wave block. Lesser Mishima would have said, yep, it's my turn. Let me just go in there and do this. Now let's rewind this though. So as you can see, he does he does empty dash into electric to try and mess with his time, and the knee ends up blocking because, keep in mind, if he ducked assuming immediate electric, he would have either got hit if he tried to press a button, or he would have got up and had to block it, which basically it doesn't matter because he had to block it anyway. That's why it doesn't matter. If you block the electric, no one cares. If you block the electric, that's just as fine with me as you getting counter hit. I prefer the counter hit, but as long as it's blocked, it is what it is. There we go. He's taking out the space again. Okay. Now, this is something that I should have covered in my straight up Tekken Mishima video, specifically for Kazuya. Kazuya's jab is not Kazuya's jab is a short range space control tool. It is not a normal jab. So what is his jab for? His jab is for when you're too close. His jab is essentially for when you're too close for the opponent's jab to not be able to contest electric. So say that you're in range 0 or you're in like another position. His jab is essentially for those situations where the opponent is too close to you for you to be able to completely control the space with electric. Because electric is extremely fast, but it is still 14 frames. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you look at the way that he's using this jab, like... And then he gets the round while standing 4-4. Now I'm just leaving the spaces thing here just to let it be seen. So as you can see, look at this. Look at how he uses FF3. He tried to press a button. Him doing FF3 on this delay out of the backdash, it breaks fuzzy guard, right? Number one, because he's using other buttons to set him up to fuzzy at a certain timing. So it breaks fuzzy guard, right? You have that. It also puts him in a situation where if he backdashes, presses a button, it hits a hurt box extension. He gets forced to block it if he's within range, and the button that he pressed was slow enough to beat it. Now, that's more of a rare use of FF3, but it was still a good use of FF3. But as they say, you have to know the rules to break them. Look, do you see this? Look, pay attention. Pay attention to this. Look at this. Knee is fuzzy ducking, right? So look. Keisuke is specifically doing options to delay his electric and also cover other options so that knee gets forced to block the electric and get counter hit by it if he attempts to press. Okay, so he sees that knee is still fuzzying, right? See, it's still fuzzying. So now, it's just a matter of, I'm going to delay my option, so I delay my hell sweep or whatever to hit you for that. Because it's fuzzy timing, so he's backdashing, down back 4, doing duck to eat the frame, so he has the ability to do that. If he tries to press a button, he can electric. And knee doesn't want to contest him, like, specifically, because he could just electric and counter hit him. Down back 4. Okay, he got hit. That was a good duck. So notice that the options that knee is choosing to try and deal with these situations more often than not is some type of high crush, or it has to do with ducking, because he's doing down back 3. He could have did a bunch of other options. Okay, down back 3. Deal with the electric. There's the wave block. And then he whiffed that, so that was unfortunate. He didn't get his whiff punish. And then Orbital has very short recovery compared to, like, you know, a lot of moves of his class. So knee has the duck or whatever to try and deal with that. Plus. Okay. And hey, well, I mean, That's just a first to two right there. I mean, yeah, but I think that I think that's why I'm going to leave it for this first like set analysis.